Welcome back to SwitchCorner. My name is Alex, and while that Indie World Direct happened, it left me with like 900 deals to dig my way through, and today we're going to be showing you those games under $10 covering the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia. So yeah, let's just jump straight into this one because there's a whole lot to get through. So first up, do remember to hit that subscribe button if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here. Join our growing family. We just hit 25,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much. It means the world to me. And then today, I have 24 games for you, so do get comfy. It's going to be a little bit quick fire, but nearly every single game here, it's at a new all-time low price. And then I also have a winner to announce from last week's video. That was for a copy of Narrated By, and that will be coming up at around the midway points. Kicking off the week then, Exit the Gungeon is rocking 33% off, a new low price, and I liked this one a lot. I know for many it wasn't the follow-up they wanted or, expected, but it essentially takes a lot of the mechanics you will know from the first entry and then throws you into this kind of 2D viewpoint. Now, as should be expected here, ultra difficult as well, but the mechanics, they are solid, the enemies are a whole lot of fun, and the constantly changing gun, it kind of regens every 30 seconds. It is creative, it keeps things fresh. I will say though, it can occasionally be annoying if you go on like a run of bad luck and just kind of get a whole host of crap guns. Alright, so slowing things down a bit then, Wandersong gets a new all-time low price of 75% off. Fantastic game that just delivered more than I ever expected. It's basically an adventure game as you're out to save the world, but your main kind of attack, your main mechanic here is music. So you play music, you meet the locals, real unique. I love the colourful visual style of this one, and the price, this is a huge discount for a loved game, plus it's a decent 10 hours in length as well, which many do not expect. Horror fans, Outlast Bundle of Terror and Outlast 2 both dropped with 80% off each, and these are incredible ports on the Switch with what are some of the best visuals seen on the console. They scare the hell out of me personally. I don't do good with horror games, but these are some of the best out there. Part almost think walking exploration, part run, some minor combat as well. This is all about the journey though into some real freaky locations. The first, you can expect to find yourself in Mount Massive Asylum, and then the second, you're investigating a cult led by Sullivan Noth. The first, then, it even throws in the DLC content known as Whistleblower, and it basically adds an extra adventure. The Darkside Detective then with 55% off. I wanted to give this one a shout out because basically a sequel just dropped and it kind of came out of nowhere, and I really liked this entry. Now if you like your old school point and click style adventures, this may very well be for you. Basically here you're playing as a paranormal detective that investigates a number of different cases. Not the longest of games, but it is fun and it gets this good balance of humour, and it's kind of like if LucasArts directed Twin Peaks, and I like that a lot. So a quick self-plug then, remember to come across and join us over on Twitch. We stream there every Monday, Tuesday and Thursday starting at 7 PM PST, and then Fridays things kick off from midday. Also then, for those PlayStation owners out there, PlayStation Corner is finally back, and yesterday I dropped my first deals video in what's been a little while, but it marks the beginning of 2 deals videos a week. I'll link both of those below if you do want to come check them out. Also, I did drop a special one-off Indie World deals video yesterday. It was just 10 quick deals, so I'll link that below with them as well. So hidden gem time, Hell is Other Demons. This is a twin stick shooting platformer as you basically make your way to the depths of hell and take on an army of demons. It's an addictive one though this, and again challenging, but I think there's a lot to like here, from the tight controls to the creative play on think almost old school Game Boy visuals to the weapon upgrades and boss moments. The soundtrack as well, it's absolutely awesome, which really kind of levels up, the whole experience and the intensity. It's got this metal dark synth kind of vibe to it. That's probably the best way to describe it. Okay, so let's quick fire through a few games, and these are not all-time low prices, but they are at least matching their lowest ever. These are also Devolver Digital games, and we all love Devolver. So first, I've got Ruiner. It's back with 50% off. It's a twin-stick shooter set in a cyberpunk world. You're essentially a sociopath out to rescue your brother. Nothing new for the genre, honestly, but it's just a blast. I loved it since I picked it up originally on the PlayStation, and it's also another one with an incredible soundtrack, and I just have a blast with this from beginning to end. Then they have Katana Zero, an action platformer with one-hit deaths. This one has a whole lot of style, but also a ton of substance too, as it turns almost into a puzzle, as you need to figure out enemy placement, the best maneuvers, when to deflect bullets, when to dodge. It also has a surprisingly deep story, and like a lot of Devolver's titles, it's just a must-buy at 40% off. Stories Untold then doesn't go on sale all that often, and it's a lesser known Devolver piece, but if you like story driven experiences, this is a very unique one. Now I wouldn't suggest it at full price honestly, but it has this almost like, think 80s vibe, think Stranger Things, and it's a set of 4 experimental adventures. Watch a review first on this one, but I enjoyed it, and the nostalgia of the setting, it went a long way, and this is just super cheap with the current 75% off. Finally, from Devolver The Messenger, a masterpiece that channels titles like Ninja Gaiden, but what makes it unique, the ability to switch between 8-bit and 16-bit visuals that also impacts the gameplay as well. Now it starts as a more traditional kind of platformer, but it evolves around the midway point into a Metroidvania. With 50% off, I think it's more than worth it for one of the most respected games on the console. Alright, so while I'm on heavy hitting publishers then, the only 2 games in today's list not at a new all-time low price, they come from Supergiant Games. Transistor first is just a masterpiece, a sci-fi themed action RPG that kind of has this element of strategy to it all as well. With sword in hand though, I think the story is fantastic, the music's stunning, and the art direction just another level. It's 80% off currently. I'd say watch a review just to see if the gameplay is for you first, as I know for some this one was a little tough to get into, but I absolutely adore it. Then their prior game, and this one was Bastion, another visual masterpiece, kind of this like watercolour vibe to it, but the soundtrack as well, it's another level. Anything Supergiant Games, the music is always good. This one though, it's also an action RPG, and you dig into this world that was destroyed by a catastrophe. Expect here though a whole lot of weapons, upgrades, a fantastic story, and even New Game Plus and Score Attack modes as well. Another must buy for me though, with 80% off. This was actually my first ever Supergiant experience, and I've pretty much been hooked ever since. So before we do get into the second half of this video then, still another 12 games to go. The winner of Narita Boy from last week's video. First of all, thanks to all of you that did take part, but sadly of course there can only be one winner, and this code, it's going to Chris DF, who had a week of no spending, and honestly looking at this week it was probably a good thing, because right now we pretty much have deals for everyone. Congrats though Chris, drop me an email to claim that code, and again thanks to all those that took part. I appreciate the support and love you showed the channel. Alright, so let's kick this second half off with the final 2 deals that just match their prior low prices, and the rest of this video is going to be all-time new low prices, because it's getting old just, saying all-time low over and over again. So first we've got OlliOlli Switch Stance, a 2D skateboarding adventure. It's well loved and with good reason. It's addictive as hell and surprisingly deep once you get into it. There's a ton of content too as well for your cash here, with it offering 80% off. Wanted to give it a shout out today though, because they announced a sequel at Indie World. Here though you can expect 120 tricks, 50 levels, 250 challenges, all sorts of content, and it also won a ton of awards as well. Then Flinthook, this game just never goes on sale. I absolutely adore it. It's so good I picked up a physical limited print of it, like actually many of the games on today's list, but this one is an action platformer with roguelike elements. Basically though, you're a pirate with the usual, gun, but to aid you in this adventure you have a slow-mo ability and a hook that just changes the game. You can basically send yourself flying all over the screen. It looks good though, it plays good, and it's a gem for those who want a platformer, just a platformer with a twist. It's also a long game as well, right around the 15-hour mark. That's kind of the average completion, and many don't expect that going in. Alright, so as I said, rest of the list then, it's going to be all-time low prices. I'm not saying all-time low again for at least a couple of days, but first off we've got Nightcall. Makes its way to the sub $10 category for the first time, and this is a mystery experience with visual novel elements that kind of just intrigued me. I love the black and white visual style, that noir kind of style. The setting of Paris, very cool, and basically, story-wise, you survived a murderer, the only survivor ever in fact, and now you become a suspect. You gotta drive your taxi, talk to the locals, and get to the bottom of the mystery while trying to make enough cash just to, kind of live your life. Won't be for everyone, but if you like story-driven experiences, take a look here with 50% off. So while I'm on the more unusual, a quick shout out for Coffee Talk. Took me a long time to actually grab this one, but once I did not regret it. Super unique game. Pens itself as kind of like coffee brewing and heart-to-heart talking simulator. Basically though, you listen to people's problems and then you help them by serving them coffee. There's a fantasy cast though here, so think demons, aliens, elves, and it's set in kind of a mystical version of Seattle. Thought it was really unique, and the anime art style is just really good. Not the longest of games, around 3 hours, but there's reasons to go back, and it's rocking 30% off. Blasphemous now, and it makes its way into the sub $10 category for the first ever time. A Metroidvania kind of embraces the gothic for its design. You'll be the penitent one, a survivor of a massacre, and you'll basically take on this world of monsters. Really enjoyed it. A few mechanics are a little weak at times, kind of frustrating, but you won't regret it if you like the genre, and the combat here is fantastic, and it all evolves with new abilities and equipment. 60% off, it's a great deal, and it's good to see it sub $10. Full Metal Furies then is on sale, and we don't see this all that often either. A cooperative action RPG. It's the team that made the mighty Rogue Legacy. You can of course play single player, but this one it's going to be best experienced in multiplayer with up to 4 players, local or online. Combat is great with a whole lot of like combos, and it's just got this fast paced as well, but I would suggest here picking it up with a group of friends, because you can never really guarantee there's going to be players online with the Switch. At least though it's making it cheap for like 4 copies with this current 70% off. Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse, then another one we don't get too many sales on, but it's actually 75% off right now. That's a great deal, bringing it, you know, sub $10. The previous low, just to give you an idea, was right around kind of 20 bucks. Now, is it as good as the originals? Of course not, but it's still great just to kind of revisit this world and characters, and I'm all about like new point and click adventures. This one though, you'll find yourself tracking down a stolen painting and conspiracy, and it's just got the usual trademark kind of sense of humour. ITTA then is a boss rush adventure with an isometric visual style, and think twin stick shooting with a whole lot of bullet hell. That said, it's not as difficult as a lot in the genre. For sure not easy still, but it's not too bad basically. But you'll be facing off against 18 bosses, waking up those surrounded by your dead family, your only guide, the ghost of your cat. Sounds strange, but it is intriguing, and it's inspired by themes of personal struggle, where if there is a light, there must be darkness, and the important thing is just to keep on going no matter what you endure. 60% off for this one, more than fair. Minit next up, also 60% off. Super interesting game. The visuals here, they will not be for everyone. Super basic. Not the longest of games either, maybe a couple of hours, but there's few games out there like it. Now the idea here is you are cursed, and every minute you basically like die and restart. So get out into this world, uncover the truth and break the curse. Just know 1 minute at a time, you gotta be quick and almost work out this puzzle to where you must head next. Alright, so we've nearly made it the final 3 games of the week. I'm definitely going to need a beer after this one, but we're starting with Risk of Rain 2, a multiplayer roguelike. This one takes what the original 2D experience did and it throws it into a 3D world, and it is incredible as you try escape an alien planet. Tons of content, great loot and weapons to kind of experience, and then there's 10 survivors to choose from. Now all of these are all unique, and it's just a blast whether you're playing this one solo or with online co-op. Also looks really good too. The final 2 games of the week then, I'm bundling these together, Limbo and Inside. Both extremely dark puzzle adventures with a more than unique visual style. What I don't want to do though here is give spoilers for either, you know, because they're both classics, but they need to be experienced. You know, Limbo, that was the one that released first. Here, uncertain of his sister's fate, a boy enters limbo, and then Inside, hunted and alone, a boy finds himself drawn into the centre of a dark project. Both are just masterpieces, easily worth the 80 and 75% off that we do find here. And that's it for the week for under $10 deals. Still plenty more out there, honestly. I had to cut like 25 or so games. Some though you will find in Saturday's Any Price edition, and some I'll be holding back for next Thursday's video as well. This Indie World sale is just one of the biggest I've seen in a long time, and it's going to be difficult not to kind of pull that credit card out. Will you be adding anything to your library though this week, or holding onto that cash? Let me know in the comments down below. Then a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. If you do want to check that out for yourself, I have linked it in the video description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.